Vishnu-Sahasranama, Shlokam 8, 8. Ishanah Pranadah Prano Jeshta Shrestha Prajapatihi Hiranyagarbho Bhugarbho Madhavo Madhusudanaha. Name 65, Ishana, which means the controller. Ishavasya sarvam. Everything here in this world is controlled by the controller. So this is a well-known name for what in the English language is vaguely referred to as God, is in Sanskrit or Indian language is Ishvara. So this is similar to the name Ishvara. Ishvara is also understood to mean from Ishvara we have the word Aishvarya. But Ishana particularly emphasizes the quality of controlling. So the important point here, the main point, is that this clearly distinguishes him from all others. He is the one control. He is the controller. We are controlled. The existence of God is a question that has been debated over the centuries, whether or not there is God. And particularly at the present time, the atheistic fold, under the leadership, the controller of the atheists, Richard Dawkins, Pride of England, is battering the theists who simply believe. So there are various arguments for the existence of God, the teleological argument, there's some other one, I can't remember the technical name. Srila Prabhupada, he very simply established that there is God, that the fact that we are all controlled. No one can deny that we are not in control, even though we like to think we're in control. But we are controlled by the laws of nature. We are forced to suffer old age, disease and death. And from Shastra we understand that there's rebirth also. So it's not rest in peace, but you have to get back again to some situation, not peaceful situation. So there are laws that control us. The scientists are busy studying the laws of nature. This morning our professor friend, who at the end of every class I ever give in the Manor, always has some objections. So he's a professor of mathematics. How can the atheists say that they're busy studying science, which is largely based on mathematics? And how can they say the whole universe is by chance if there are mathematical laws? So Srila Prabhupada would make this very simple argument. The fact that we are controlled means that there's a controller. Simple to understand. David Hume, he said, well, maybe there's more than one. So that he wanted to disprove this argument for the existence of God, that there is a controller. He wanted to disprove that by saying that, well, it doesn't mean that there's one controller, there could be more than one. But then if you accept that there's a controller or controllers, at least we have to understand that we are controlled by a higher power, and that at least that point we should accept. So who is that power or powers? That's a question which follows on from that. But if we accept, as we should do, that we're controlled, therefore there is a controller, or maybe controllers, that should be accepted. And how to get information about that? Well, how to understand who that is, then we have to find out from those who understand how they... Just like we can understand that there's a government in this country. We can't... Anyone who comes to this country from any other country can understand that there's a government, because we see that things are going on it's a complex society. The organization of it is complex, but it's going on. Just even to drive a car from one place to another, you have to know the traffic rules, which are somewhat complex. If you don't know them, if there's no government to make rules, make roads, make traffic lights, make traffic laws, then driving would be a lot more difficult and dangerous than it is. So it's easy to understand that there is a government, but what is the nature of that government? How it exercises its control. To find that out, well, we should ask someone who knows, and they can tell us. Please move on. So in the same way, or we can get some books which explain about all this. So in the same way, we can intelligently understand that there is a system of control. And how to find out? Well, we have to find out from those who know, from the authorized books of knowledge. And the authorized books of knowledge tell us that there is a supreme controller. There are sub-controllers also, but there is one supreme controller. Ishvara Parama Krishna. His name is Krishna. So in this, one can come to this country and one can understand that there's a system of government. In any system of government there's a supreme controller. But who is he? Just by intelligent deduction one cannot understand what is his name, what's his wife's name, what he eats for breakfast. For that you have to find out from someone who knows. So in the same way that there is a supreme controller, that is stated, or that we can understand who he is, what he looks like, where he lives, what he likes to eat. That we cannot understand simply by deduction, but we can understand from those who know. So he is that person who is the supreme controller. That is Krishna. And this important point that there's one supreme controller, which means that all others are subordinate. So there are many names here in Vishnu-Sahasranama, and several are coming up, which indicate his superiority to all others. And the basic principle of his being superior to all others, which is the meaning of God, is that he controls and others are controlled. Ekale Ishvara Krishna Arshabhrita Jare Joiche Nachai Tare Toiche Karindrita. There is one supreme controller, Krishna, and all others are his servants. As he makes them to dance, in that way they dance. So it is his position to control. Just as our constitutional position is to be controlled, it's his constitutional position to control. So that means that we should serve him. We can defy him, or deny him and defy him. But if we accept our constitutional position of service to him, then we become properly situated and happily situated as he is happy. So just like our position, Jiva Swarup Hoy Krishna Nitya Das, the constitutional position of the living being is to serve Krishna. So in the same way, Krishna's constitutional position, Krishna Swarup Hoy Jiva Nitya Prabhu, his eternal, constitutional, inherent position is to dominate others. So generally we don't like to hear this, that we are dominated and controlled by others. But it's a fact. And when we like to hear it, then we become properly situated. As long as we don't like to hear it, then we're in Maya, and we have to suffer the pangs of repeated birth and death while pretending to ourselves and others that we are in control. When we're not in control. We're just thinking we are. Ishvaro hamaham bhogi, I am the enjoyer, I am the controller, I am the enjoyer. But the proper happy position is simply to acknowledge Krishna's supremacy. Bhavantamevanu charanyarantara prashanta nishesha manoratantara kadaham aikantika nitya kinkaraf praharshaya shami sanatijita. Yamunacharya, the great devotee, is praying for the time to come, of course he's already situated like that, when he will be fully situated in his constitutional position of service to Krishna. He will accept Krishna as his master, Krishna will accept him as his servant, and in this way the jiva becomes fully peaceful and happy, being free from material desires. So we may think that I am the controller, but actually we are either controlled directly by Krishna or controlled by man, and then we're controlled by material desires. Although we may think we're free to do what we like, we are pulled here and there by our senses. So Krishna is the actual controller, which means also that he is in control of everything. He's also in control of his senses. His apparently lusty affairs is not like that of a human being. He deliberately engages in those for the sake of his own pleasure. But he's not, like us, pulled by our senses. So this is most important point to understand, that there is a supreme controller, and if we cooperate with him, just like in a state, if we cooperate with the government, if the state is not despotic, then we can live comfortably and happily within the state. But if we try to deny the jurisdiction of the government over us and break the laws, then we'll be punished by the government. So, on the cosmic platform also, if we accept Krishna is the supreme controller, let me cooperate with him, then we remain happily in his service. Ning 66 is pranada and 67 is prana. So, prana, I'll just briefly touch that first of all. Prana means life. Life, breath, vitality. Jivanam sarva bhuteshu, Krishna says, I am the life of all living beings. So Krishna is pranada, he gives life. We are living beings. We are part and parcel of Krishna. Krishna is life. We are alive because we are part and parcel of Krishna. Namai Vangsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. Krishna is the supreme life, and we are all part and parcel of that because